The following is a presentation of the Eagles Sports Network.
Well, it's always exciting opening week. You know, you've been in camp 3 weeks in preparation. You know, you get to a point where you know, you've had full speed scrimmages, you've had people getting after it, you've had all of that, and you get yourself to game week, and you know, you go, hey, we got to be as healthy as we can be. So I think the excitement part of it, you know, we've been going 2 weeks from this date we play, 1 week from this date we play. Now it's you know, the day before the day before. So you know, the opening game, especially getting to play at home, is special, especially to our kids and their families. I think playing West Florida, which is a team that's a great football team, a team a year ago playing for the national championship. So plenty of excitement at Mossy Creek.
You think about that excitement. Thursday nights, the opener at Carson-Newman typically is something special. This will be the 7th time in 8 years that you've done it. What's it mean to start the season out under the lights?
Well, I think it's a great event that you can play on a Thursday night. You know, it's a funny, somehow, I don't know in my lifetime I remember the calendar being this way, but that we spent Labor Day working instead of Labor Day off. So that was part of our, you know, our regular agenda. This was game week. I think Thursday night's a great time to play. I think you know, we've gone through camp 3 hard weeks in a row, haven't backed down from it a bit, and those kids have responded great. But I do think the community, I think the student body, I think our kids and their families are ready for game night and get ready to play.
Senior year for Antonio Wimbush, All-American a year ago, Harlan Hill candidate this year. What's he need to do to make that jaunt toward potentially becoming Carson-Newman's all-time leading rusher?
I think Wimbo just needs to be Wimbo. Just be himself, and I've told those kids, you know, especially those seniors, that, you know, you're getting ready to play your last home football game at Carson-Newman, the first home game. You know, you got to take every game as if it were my last, and you need to enjoy it. So I don't want them to overthink anything about being a senior. Don't be looking down the road in the schedule at this game or that game. Take them one at a time. Enjoy them one at a time. Know how blessed you are that you get to play college football to start with, but make sure it's just one game at a time.
What needs to change from last year's meeting in Pensacola for Carson-Newman to be successful?
Well, I think number one is taking care of the football. We looked at the sheet a week ago, the notes that we made after the game in Pensacola as an offensive staff, for example, and you talk about mistakes, you talk about being in better condition. We are that, I promise you that. So I think you see where you had the opportunity. Okay, you had the opportunity. You know, we scored a touchdown. It's called back. We had one player wiggled a little bit. We laid the ball on the ground twice when we were driving the football. I think we missed 1 or 2 field goals. In games when you're playing great football teams like West Florida, it gets down to the least mistakes. But it also gets down to making the most out of your opportunities. You get the opportunity. You get the opportunity to score points. You get the opportunity to get off the field in third and. All right, get off the field. But I think in special teams, you've got to be at the top of your game. And, you know, you think, well, this is the first game, there's going to be mistakes. Yes, there is. But you make those kind of mistakes with special teams and you pay for it.
How do you evaluate the mindset of your group about 48 hours from kickoff?
I think they've handled it. Gosh, we've had the last couple of weeks or 2 weeks plus of extreme heat. And we've practiced them in that heat on purpose, conditioning-wise, mentally-wise. I think they're mentally tough. We talked about it the other day. There's two kinds of toughness. There's toughness, physical toughness, and then there's mental toughness. We've talked, and you know, you're dealing with young kids, and it doesn't matter if they're seniors and juniors or sophomores and freshmen. You've got to teach kids how to handle adversity. There's 2 ways you handle adversity. Either you go run, hit it head on, or you flee from it. And gosh, you're going to make a mistake in this game, and we don't want one player out there to play that's worried about making a mistake. You can't play full speed. You can't turn loose if you're worried about making mistakes. Are they going to make mistakes? Yeah, they're 18, 19, and 20 years old. But, hey, come back and don't make the same mistake.
Offensive line-wise, it seemed like just yesterday we were talking about how young of a group it was. Now it's a very experienced group. What would you say the state of that unit is entering this season?
Well, the state of that group is most of them haven't practiced in fall camp. Coach Turner's got that group, and there's been times where there's been 4 starters out, 5 starters out, 6 of the top 7 out. That's due to past surgeries. That's due to some injuries that happened in fall camp. But the blessing is we're going to get them all back. Game week is a tremendous thing. If they could bottle game week, because it's a great healer. You got me? People heal up a lot faster on game week, and I'm glad for that to happen. But yes, Michael, that is an experienced position. But in the situation of lost practice time and that type of deal, you got a little bit of unknown there.
When you look at this senior class, at least the true senior class,
yes,
they haven't been to the playoffs. As a program, it's been a little while since the SAC championship has been won here. What's it going to take for this year's senior group to lead the way to getting maybe 1 or 2 of those things checked?
Right. Well, I think you do what we talk about every day. Try to be great every day. Okay? If you spend a day and you weren't great at it, then shame on you. I think they understand expectations. They have expectations and they have dreams also, just like coaches have dreams. But I don't think you put so much pressure on those expectations or those dreams. I want them to have a good time. You got me? Yeah, we win a championship, great. We're in the playoffs, great. But I want them to enjoy the time that they're here. I do want them. I think if they'll do it that way, if we'll play that way and practice that way every time, I think the championships and the playoffs come. It's to part of it that's hard to explain. Coaches trying to explain that to people, but you're trying to work with kids that have a lot of things to overcome. You're trying to get them to understand that they've got to play for something greater than themselves. That's a whole new invention in this world today, brother. But if we can get everybody on that track, get everybody believing the same way, those things will fall in place.
You mentioned putting the ball on the ground a couple times last year. I know that there were some penalties at times last year against West Florida. Well, first game this season, how do you try to combat some of that sloppiness as you get ready for week 1 here?
Well, I think if you watched any football games last week, you see that it's first game, and there's you talk about kids in shape. Well, you get out there on game day or game night, and those juices are flowing. They would almost appear to be out of shape. They've overhyped it a little bit, and I think you got to learn to play under control. And we've done many things, noise and all those kind of things to help with those mistakes. But that's part of the game. Started off the season, the kids are going to make mistakes, but what you don't want is pre-snap mistakes. Okay. Those are the kind that's hard to overcome. You can overcome a penalty here, a penalty there, that kind of mistake. But if you take care of pre-snap penalties, if you take care of the football, that is the most precious item out there come game time, you have a chance to be successful.
You look at West Florida, and, I mean, it's what you've grown to expect out of the Argos transfer infusion. How do you get ready for a team that quarterback, especially Sam Vaughn, was the starter for the majority of the year last year, but he's not even on the 2 deep this year, thanks to the Colorado State transfer.
Well, the other one that would have played for him started for UConn this past week. So, yeah, they've got great players. Goodness gracious, they've got great players on both sides of the ball and special teams. They're a very, very talented football team. They've got quite a few guys that are back that were defense and offense. They got returners back in there. They've got some depth, plus they've got some years on them, as far as juniors and seniors. I think what they felt like they did last year is going to be very successful. They're a defense that runs probably as good as any defense in the country. Okay, they run well, and they run to the ball well. On offense, they're very explosive. They've got receivers and running backs, quarterbacks, obviously, that are very explosive players. And, it's the first game for them and it's the first game for us. That's what it gets down to.
Do you feel like both these teams have a little something to prove after how they finished up last year?
Oh, I would think so. I think that's not anything that kids need to be concerned with. Those kids need to be concerned about being the best they can be every day we're out there and trying to improve every day we're out there. I think we make way too much out of whether it be them from a year ago in the national championship game to them doing this or that, or us having been in the playoffs in 3 or 4 years or whatever. I think you can make way too much out of that when the success of a program, if those kids can just learn to buy in and turn loose and enjoy themselves every day, you have a great chance to be successful.